Okay, today's lesson is just going to be a word problem review. Remember, we didn't do that part of your test the way that maybe we were going to. So this week we got to get better at how to do word problems without them being multiple choice. All right, so every word problem that we do, we're going to do in the same format every single time. I always divide my paper into 3 sections. That's why I've got these lines drawn. The very first thing that you're always going to do, you need to define your variables, which is when you determine what variables you want to use and what they stand for. For example, you may have like H equals the number of hours worked, right? You may, and I will say in this set, you should always have 2 variables. All right, that's what it means to define. The second thing that you're going to do, still kind of in the same step, is going to be to write your equation. And we're going to talk about how to do that here in just a minute. I'm going to give you one more kind of refresher on how to get all that straight. Most of what we're going to be doing today, or at least in the beginning, is just going to be focusing right here on how to write things. Once you write them, in the middle, you are going to, so the second thing you're either going to do is solve or graph. Either way, you've got to get to a point where you have solutions. Remember that solutions are, if you graph it, solution are points on the line or in the shaded area. All right, and then my third step will always be to write, and this doesn't matter what kind of equation you have, it will always be to write a sentence. You always need to explain what your solution means in terms of the problem. So I don't just want you to tell me like H equals 3. I want you to say he worked for 3 hours, right? That whole hours example I'm just kind of making up, but just make sure you know you have to write a sentence. You cannot just tell me what it equals. So let's look at how we can distinguish between the different types of word problems. All right, so we've got 3 possible formats. All right, so 3 possible formats. The first one is y equals mx plus b. Remember that here you may want to make a note. Not may, you need to make a note. M is my slope or my rate, and b is my y-intercept. All right, we're going to use this if they give us, the 2 things they need to give us are a rate, and we'll know that because we may see the word per or the word each. Those are my key words for that. And they give me a starting point. So my starting point is going to be my b value, but they have to tell me where it starts. So for instance, if they say you have to pay $10 per day, that's a rate because it's per day, but you start in your account with $400, they give you a starting point and a rate. All right, another type of format that they might give you is this standard form, ax plus by equals c. We're going to use that when they give us 2 rates. So you're going to see the word per 2 times, like, or each. So maybe they will say an apple is 10 cents each and a banana is 30 cents each, right? That might be an example of 2 different times they're giving us rates. And they have to give us a total. All right, so here an example might be that you spend 10 cents on an apple and what we said, 30 cents on a banana, and altogether you spent, $4.50 at the grocery store. All right, that would be an example of when you're going to write it in standard form. Oh, and I even miswrote that. That should, instead of a B, we need to have Y right here, X and Y. All right, and then our last type of equation, and it's not even an equation, is going to be an inequality. It's still going to have one of the formats above, but instead of an equal sign, we're now going to have greater than or equal to, less than, or equal to, or less than. Here we're going to use when we have certain key words. So we still have to think about the top 2 formats, but now we also have to think about some key words. And I'm going to make a list of those for you. I'm going to pause and make a list, and then you can copy down what I've got. Okay, so those are your list of keywords that you need to have for your greater than symbols. If it says more than, at least, or no less than, those are all greater than symbols. And then I've got these other 3 keywords over here. My other 3 keywords are for when I have the less than symbols. So you need to have those written down in your notes, or you're not going to have them to do our problems tomorrow. All right, that's all we've got. Make sure you have everything copied down so that when you come in, we're ready to go.